To get started with this sweet potato cheesecake, we are going to be starting with the crust. So I have 10 ounces of Gingersnap cookies. If you don't know what 10 ounces is, buy yourself a 1-pound bag, eat a couple of them, you got 10 ounces left, honey. I got 4 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to use half a teaspoon of salt. In a food processor, I'm going to grind up my cookies into a fine powder. And then I'm going to put in all of my butter and my salt. Then I'll pulse that together until I get a nice texture on my crust, this is about what I'm looking for, something that can hold itself together. In a greased spring form pan, I'm going to press in my crust mixture, pat it down well, and I'm going to use a little bit of a measuring cup to help me get everything like I wanted and to put it on the sides. I'm going to bake this in a 350-degree oven for 8 minutes until the sides are golden brown. While that's going, I'm going to take out my roasted sweet potatoes. I'm using 4 small roasted sweet potatoes, and I am going to use a total of about 1.75 cups of the puree. So right now I'm going to measure it into my measuring cup and pack it down so that I get to about 1.75 cups. You can use 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes. You'll get about the same amount. Now I'm going to make mine in a food processor. So I'm going to blend up my sweet potatoes to get rid of all those strings so I have a nice smooth batter. And I'm going to go in there with 4 tablespoons of butter for a little bit of extra richness. Then I'm going to use cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and a little bit of salt. I'm also going to put in 1 cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to lastly add 2 tablespoons of flour. The flour is going to help the cheesecake become very smooth and have a nice little silky texture. You could also use cornstarch. Blend this together well until it's well incorporated. And then we're going to start working on the dairy side of our batter. Of course, you want to scrape down the sides to make sure everything is well mixed. Now, this is where things got a little crazy, y'all, okay? I had 3 blocks of cream cheese, and really my food processor is more like medium size. Now, if you have a large food processor, you're not going to have any problems putting all of the ingredients in, but mine was getting a little bit full. But one of the reasons why I wanted to use the food processor is because you really avoid the likelihood of getting air in your cheesecake. If you've ever made a sunken cheesecake that sunk in the middle, it was because of the air. So I'm using this instead of a hand mixer, but you can feel free to use a hand mixer. Now, what I am going to do is that I'm going to start out pulsing it. You see me trying to get it going. And I'm going to end up adding 1 of my eggs, but at some point it's going to get a little too hard to mix. So I'm just going to open my food processor, and I'm going to take out a little bit of the pureed sweet potato. And here it is with less mixture in it, and I'm going to add in the rest. And here's the other part of the mixture on the side, and I'm just going to go in and blend the rest of the ingredients. I put in the vanilla and heavy cream, and now I'm going to add in some sour cream as well to give it a little tang, and the additional 2 eggs. Now, in order to incorporate everything well, I'm just going to mix everything together in a large pan with the mixture that I put to the side. And if I see any lumps, I really didn't see any big lumps, but if I had big lumps, you could just put it in the food processor, and small lumps, just knock them to the side of the bowl. Now, this is our completely cooled crust, and I'm going to add my batter into the pan. And I'm going to end up baking this at 350 degrees for 1 hour exactly. Once that time is up and you can stick a toothpick in it and it comes out clean, the center might still be a little bit jiggly, but that is okay, all right? And I also had a little bit of cracks in mine because I don't do that whole water bath thing. Doesn't matter for me. My family will eat it with or without the cracks, honey. But you will see that as it cools down, these cracks will sort of come back together. Now, instead of just taking it out of the oven, I'm going to leave it in the oven with the door cracked for about an hour so it can cool gently. And then I'm going to let it cool completely on the counter. I'm going to wrap it in some plastic wrap and I'm going to put it overnight in the fridge. Control yourself now. Okay, don't try to cut this thing early or you ain't going to be happy with your cheesecake. Now, here we are the next day and I'm going to go around the pan with a knife just to help it come out a little bit more secure. And the moment of truth, y'all. Okay, we're going to tug this thing out. And as you can see, mine came out pretty easily because of the spray. And it's such a beautiful cheesecake. It's super creamy and you can serve this any way you want to. I enjoyed mine with a little whipped cream on top, and this was just delightful with the cinnamon. This is the perfect combination of desserts. I hope you subscribe and join me next time in Kamira's Kitchen. Goodbye.